There, the Hindustan Zinc divestment has got the go-ahead from the Supreme Court. Ashmit has been tracking that very closely. He's joining in to fill us in with more details. Ashmit?
It's a two-part order that needs to be carefully read. The first part is that the Apex Court has very clearly clarified that as of right now, the way things stand right now, the government enjoys a 29.54% stake in HZL. And given as how it is not a controlling shareholder, it is not the government does not enjoy or exercise control over the company. It is an ordinary shareholder. The government is well within its right to divest these shares. The centre had clarified before the Apex Court that this will be an open offer. The sale will be, in fact, put out in the open market, and in fact, the Apex Court has said that completely is within the government's right as a shareholder, and further has said that the Apex Court hopes that if and when this process goes forward, it will be done in a transparent way, it will be in compliance with SEBI norms, and that it will be in compliance with the divestment norms as well. So towards that end, the Apex Court has given a green signal. However, let's keep in mind that this comes on the back of a 2002 divestment that took place in HZL, and that is a cause of concern here for the top court. The top court records various concerns that have been raised as a part of this petition, raises concerns that were raised by the CAG, essentially raising concerns on the divestment that took place and the pricing of the divestment and the manner of divestment that took place back in the year 2002. What is equally important is that the centre had sought to communicate to the Apex Court that, look, the CBI already looked at the matter and has sought to close the preliminary inquiry. What the Supreme Court today has done is said that there is a prima facie case of violation of these divestment norms. The preliminary inquiry, as has sought to be closed, cannot be done so, and that there should be a registration of a regular case by CBI, essentially saying now the Supreme Court that there is a prima facie case of violation of divestment norms in 2002, and that the CBI should look into the matter, the CBI should probe. So it's a two-part order, equally important. While the government has been allowed to divest its stake, 29.54%, the Supreme Court also saying that, look, there's plenty, a prima facie, potentially wrong with the 2002 divestment, and that is something the CBI should investigate, should probe, should look into. Back to you.
Right, Ashwin, thanks a lot for that, putting all those things into perspective. We also have Rakesh Arora of GoIndiaStocks.com joining in to give us his view on the same. Rakesh, how does this change things for both Zinc as well as Vedanta?
So it's an extremely important development if government was to divest the remaining stake of Hindustan Zinc. Yesterday, as you would have noted, that Vedanta came out with a revised strategy plan where they are trying to list all their businesses separately. Now, the biggest unlocking of value could have happened only if Hindustan Zinc shares are also consolidated and given to the shareholders directly. And the news released yesterday.
Okay. All right. I think we've got Rakesh on a bit of a sketchy line. Yeah, Rakesh.
Yeah. So I was saying that, the plan as it came out yesterday meant that Hindustan Zinc shares would have still remained as the, minor holding into the residual Vedanta, which would have been left. That would not have unlocked the value. But if they're able to acquire 100% stake in Hindustan Zinc, it changes the game a little bit.
All right. Rakesh, in the past, what the management has told us is they are okay with an OFS if the government has to go ahead, and they will participate in that. Will that be par for the course as well? Because I think what the Vedanta management wants, they want to access the cash in Hindustan Zinc's books. Now, if any which ways, once the government of India is out, then it makes things a lot more clearer. Your take?
Yeah, definitely it makes things a lot clearer. But if you're taking the OFS route, why would a minority shareholder come at these valuations?
Correct. So if it has to go by the OFS route, then you think that it'll have to be priced at a much sharper discount in comparison to this current price of around 333.40 rupees?
Yeah, that's what I think, because, why would a minority shareholder given, control premium, which the government would be looking at? So for government, it makes sense to, only sell it to Vedanta or a strategic guy who's willing to give some control premium. If they're doing an OFS, then Hindustan Zinc shares would be, going down from the current levels. That's what I can think of.
So what do you think is the fair value?
No, so it's very difficult to say what is fair value. I mean, commodity market is in a totally, different ball game right now. It's it's difficult to call whether it is peak.
But could you put a percentage to the control premium then?
Yeah, so as an analyst, normally we used to put a 20% holding company discount for while valuing Hindustan Zinc into Vedanta.
Yes.
Okay.
So at least that 20% premium can come back to Vedanta. So the call here is that long Vedanta, short Hindustan Zinc would be the call on base of this news.
Okay.
But remember, divestment can take much longer. So it's not, you don't know the time frame.
I don't think that short trade on Hindustan Zinc is available, Rakesh, now, because I don't think it's there in the F&O market, and I think the float anyway is around 3 to 4%. But you believe that Vedanta, post this correction from the recent peak, I would think it was 380 rupees in the last 45 days or so, at around 320 rupees, is it a buy? Putting all this into perspective, the Hindustan Zinc divestment can take place. The management is talking about unlocking value at 320 rupees. Does it present value?
Yeah, so only if minority shareholders get the Hindustan Zinc shares directly into their hand, then there is some value unlocking, which is possible. Otherwise, this is another googly from the management. We'll have to wait and see how the details pan out. And obviously, there's a shareholder vote, which will be crucial.
Yeah.
And if history is any guidance, it has proven to be effective.
Yeah. We have seen many googlies coming from the management, Rakesh, over the last decade or so that we have been in touch itself. But just to get this correct, you're expecting this, this Hindustan Zinc shares to be distributed to the Vedanta shareholders? Is that what you're indicating?
So till yesterday, that was not my understanding from reading the press release and the board meeting outcome.
Yeah.
But today, given this judgment and thinking that government would look to do divestment, it becomes a possibility that you have 100% shareholding in Hindustan Zinc under Vedanta, then that holding company discount goes away.
All right. This morning we were reading a Kotak report which indicated that if all those things were to happen, it would unlock value of almost 60 rupees per share for Vedanta. But all said and done, that's the sum and substance of what's taking place in the commodities market. The big news coming in that the government has given, the Supreme Court has given an okay for the government to go ahead and sell their stake in Hindustan Zinc. With that, we wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. Stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.